In this video, I'll talk a little bit more about local Git repos. I think that it can be wise to have several Git repos on the system. One for tracking system files, which is readable by any user on the Linux server, and also to track files which is only for the root user. So I'll try to show you. First of all, I need to be a root user, and then I can do a cd. Then I will go to the root user home folder. Just to be sure, I can do a print working directory. So you see now I am in /root, and when I'm in there, I can do a git init. Then it will create a folder called .git, and then I can start tracking files. And typically, I can do an ls. Typically, files that might only be for the root. For instance, here I have a file with some secrets. I have access information. Also have typically scripts, which I don't want anyone else to see. It might have a password, might have some. Well, it's only for the root user. I don't want other users to be able to see this content. If I would have made a git rep on the top level, if I do a git init here and then start tracking files which is inside the /root folder, I'm actually exposing the content to other users. That's the first thing. So I think to have a local git repo for the root user only to track these files makes sense. But that means that if you go to the etc folder, you will not be able to track files into the git repo, which is in /root. So when I'm in the etc, I do a git init, and now I have a second git repo. And let's do a test. So I had this git repo for a while. I can do a git status, and I can see here that several files changed. And wow, I can do a git diff hosts, and here you can see that some lines were added. Actually, they were commented out. Git status. Let's do a git diff fs tab. So here you can see this file was changed not by a human. It was changed by a Puppet. So we have a Puppet server that actually change local files. Typically, sometimes things needs to be changed, and it's done by a remote server. The green one are the lines which were added. The red ones are the lines which were removed. Okay, so if I also what I can do, let's do a clear. I can do a git log, and here I can see in the history of the files that were changed. And if I'm curious on which specific changes were done, I can do a git show, and then I take this hash number, and you can see in this case here that the php ini file was changed. The line starts with a minus. The red ones is the one that was removed, and this one was the line that was added. Also, what's important is that when you create git repos, I normally create them as a root user. The benefit of that is that you make sure that only the root user can actually add changes to the git repo. If you create the repo as your personal user, root can always add, but it makes sense to protect the git repo as a root user, so that you make sure no one else can add. Now, this server here has different web projects. So if I go to the sites and I do ls, I see a lot of folders here, and each one of them is a website. So I can go to one of them, let's say MSO. This is a Drupal site, and if I do a git status, I have another git repo, and it makes sense to have a git repo for each individual website because they are projects and you don't want to mix changes from other files on the system. So on this server I actually might have 20 different git repos, and it's not a big problem to have that. If you're a little bit if you forget where you have your git repos, you can search for them. So let's just do that. So I do a find. I'm searching in the www sites folder. I don't want to search on a deep level. I think it's enough to go 2 steps down. And I'm searching for directories. And what are the name of these directories? It should be .git. And if I now press enter, I get that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 git repos. One in Corvis and one in Folk. Yeah. Anyway, so I think it makes sense to have several git repos. It's better than nothing. I will also make another video about using a git repo, let's say from GitHub or a GitLab project, where you can also push your changes to a centralized server. It makes an extra security. Okay, thank you. Bye.